Hey everyone, this is Daniel from PhoneArena with a video review of the Alcatel One Touch Idol Ultra, the phone that got a respectable 4th placing in our thinnest handsets roundup. That's finally hitting shelves many months after the initial CES announcement way back in January. Planted in the affordable mid-range segment, the slimmest member of Alcatel's One Touch line is just 0.25 inches, 6.45 millimeters thick. It still sports a respectable 4.7-inch HD Super AMOLED display and an 8-megapixel camera, but the rest of the specs are an underwhelming MediaTek processor and 1 gig of RAM, plus there is no microSD card slot. The design is an eye-grabber though, and if the price is right, One Touch Ultra might have a shot at the mid-range fame. Thin design is always elegant, if not always comfortable to grab and hold, and a One Touch Ultra fits the cliche. It is slender with this rounded unibody chassis, also feathery light at 4.06 ounces, 115 grams, leaving the impression of a rather sophisticated handset. Only the 8-megapixel camera module protrudes a couple of millimeters from the soft touch plastic on the back, sticking out in an otherwise rather seamless design concept. Alcatel had to make some compromises to achieve that svelte unibody wrapper, and the main one is that there is no standard audio jack. Yep, you heard that right. Here is the micro USB slot here at the top, and you have an adapter, microSD to 3.5 millimeter audio jack adapter, so make sure it's always plugged in the included headphones. The Idol Ultra also compromised with storage expansion in the footsteps of HTC, omitting a microSD slot. On the right is only the micro SIM covered with a protective flap with a lock mechanism that's situated a bit too deep. So good luck pushing your card in or taking it out if you have your fingernails trimmed. Besides the covered microSD port at the top, here's also the power lock key. Chrome-like, not very comfortable choice for placing that one on a large screen phone instead of here on the side, but it feels pretty easy to feel impressed without looking. This is how you unlock the handset. It has a good tactile feedback, just like the volume rocker here on the left. The One Touch Idol is outfitted with a 4.7-inch 720 by 1280 pixels display panel. Its AMOLED technology displays vivid, eye-popping cold colors with a rather excessive amount of saturation. The screen flaunts excellent viewing angles and deep blacks, underscored by this choice of a cityscape wallpaper by default with a dark background. It could use a more peak brightness, however, for when you're outside under direct sunlight, though the low reflectance and high contrast help for decent visibility in this scenario as well. The phone doesn't use the Gorilla Glass for the screen protection, but the competitor's Asahi Dragon Trail Glass, which should be extra durable too. Let's have a look at what the interface looks like on this display. Alcatel uses a simple interface overlay on top of Android 4.1 Jelly Bean, seemingly based on the Go launcher, with a rounded icon corners, standard home screen, app drawer layout. It looks pretty trim, doesn't try too hard with a bunch of unnecessary widgets or excessive animations and transparencies that would bog down the processor. The software engineers at Alcatel have preloaded a few utility apps like Skype, Torch, Deezer, 2 radio apps, network share options, and also we've got integrated connectivity switches right down in the pull-down notification bar. Android 4.1.1 is here on the handset. Let's have a look at the storage. We've got 16 gigabytes, of which 13 are user available, which is a pretty good ratio. The stock keyboard is TouchPal, which is one of the very good keyboard apps in the Play Store. It is pretty comfortable to use with one hand on the 4.7-inch display, and also provides swipe-like functionality for keying things quick. The 1.2 GHz dual-core MediaTek MT6577 processor is a rather basic silicon that is not going to wow you neither with its benchmark scores nor with the UI fluidity or uploading times. It's alright for a daily driver, but 720p screens and 8 megapixel cameras are the maximum it supports, so it feels like spreading itself a bit too thin here with the Idol Ultra. That's especially true with the heavy games where the relatively weak GPU is struggling, but the interface performance is rather slow as well. We get 1 GB of RAM, which is the bare minimum for decent multitasking, and 16 gigs of internal storage, of which 13 GB are usually available, as we showed you, meaning you won't find much bloat and customizations on the handset. The lack of memory expansion slot is a bummer though, so you have to learn how to make do with what's available on the phone. Let's see how Quadrant will score with this weak MediaTek chipset. Okay, we got 3,144 points on Quadrant, which is a pretty low score by any standard. Web pages often exhibit tiling or are slow to render while panning around in the default Mozilla Gecko-based browser, indicating slow redraw rates, likely caused by the combination of weak GPU and unoptimized software. The browser redraws text very well though. Alcatel also provides the stock Chrome browser, which doesn't allow you to sideload Adobe Flash though. The Idol Ultra supports European Asian 3G frequencies up to 7.2 megabits per second download speeds, and we also get Wi-Fi, Bluetooth 4.0, assisted GPS, and FM radio with RDS. This stripe-like gallery offers simple cropping and color effects applied to your photos, but that's about it. The music player in its turn only categorizes the songs by albums, artists, playlists. There are no equalizer presets to speak of. Let's pump up the loudspeaker a little bit. As you can hear, it is pretty decent for such a thin device, strong, with relatively clean sound. And let's check out the video player here. It actually runs DivX XVD videos up to Full HD resolution. As you can see, it's a DivX Full HD video. But MKV files, for example, are only supported up to 720p resolution, HD. Overall, pretty decent player. There's a loop function as well, but that's about it. An 8 megapixel shooter with LED flash sounds good for a mid-range device, and Alcatel offers a bunch of scene modes and effects in the camera to spice the photographic experience. These include, as you can see, HDR mode, 360 panorama, beauty face smile shot, night shots as well, different scene modes. And we also get a few laughing mirror effects. You can choose the quality. The pictures themselves are a tad oversaturated. Well, the image on the whole is underexposed in normal shooting mode. Detail could be higher for this resolution, and noise is also plenty in most but the brightest of conditions. There are no glaring white balance issues, and the pictures come out focused enough. So overall, the phone produces bearable photos, as we've seen much worse from slim mid-rangers. Video is recorded in 720p resolution with fluid 30 frames per second and tends to oversaturate the colors and overexpose bright areas just like the stills. The focus wanders a bit too much in video mode, so the phone often blurs the footage for a split second. You also get this color and laughing mirror effects while shooting video. Overall, decent camera, but nothing exceptional. The mid-range battle is a heated one, and Alcatel One Touch Idol Ultra is well positioned in terms of price and specs, with about $300 to €150 price tag for this elegant, very thin chassis, an HD AMOLED display, and 8-megapixel camera. These qualities get spoiled by a rather weak-linked MediaTek chipset, and we wish Alcatel spent a few bucks more for a well-rounded Snapdragon here. The slim, stylish body also has brought with it some major compromises, like insufficient battery capacity, a lack of micro SD card slot, and a finicky micro SIM one. Not to mention the adapter needed to plug in the additional headphone set. Standard headphone set has to be plugged with a microSD to 3.5mm jack adapter. Still, if looks are important to you, the Alcatel One Touch Idol Ultra is one of the trimmest and lightest big screen Androids around. The toughest competitor in this price range would be the Huawei Ascend P6, which is thinner with a more premium chassis, microSD slot, and better battery life, but subpar camera. The LG Optimus F7 also deserves attention here, with the same screen size and resolution, but beefier battery and better picture quality for a tad lower price even. Another good alternative in the price range we find in the Windows Phone camp with the Nokia Lumia 720, which has a pretty good camera and offers snappy performance, but the screen size and resolution as well as the up count will be lower than what you get with the One Touch Idol Ultra. This was a video review of the Alcatel One Touch Idol Ultra from PhoneArena. For more information about this and other handsets, you can visit us at PhoneArena.com.